Good morning, Ines.
Good morning, Thor. You're looking very, very well in your lovely blue. Is it blue t-shirt?
Actually, it's grey, but I suppose it does look
No.
blue, doesn't it? I think it has something to
Yeah,
do with the window and the lights and everything. But yeah, no, it's grey.
it's nice.
Are you
Very,
wearing
very
grey
nice.
too? Are we both wearing
Yeah,
grey?
I'm wearing gray, but mine doesn't look blue.
No, yours doesn't look blue. It must be something about the light, because I don't suppose you don't have a window in front of you, do you?
No, I don't. But the funny thing is, looking behind me, that looks blue, and it's not blue in there at all. It's gray.
Is it?
Yes, it is gray. It's
Hmm.
another little teeny weeny lobby. And I close the door so it doesn't look as if it's crooked. My door is not crooked, actually. I have a very straight door.
Has to something to do with the angle of the camera, though, right? Because I
It
suppose
could
your
be. Yes,
camera's
that's
camera
right.
is
Yeah.
slightly
I
up.
looked at it. I put even a sort of spirit level on it. It's fine.
Yeah, no, I think it has something to do with the angle of the camera.
Yeah.
That's why it looks crooked. How you been, Ines?
I've been very well. Thank you very much. It is cold, very, very cold, which of course is good. It's
Mm,
winter.
mm,
Normal. Yes.
mm,
I like
mm.
normal.
Yeah, I suppose having a bit of supposed normality right now is a good thing.
Gosh, yes. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I agree. I
Yeah.
don't know what you think about where nobody has to wear masks. Is it as a Monday or something?
I think it's outrageous.
I do too. I mean, the world is still in a lockdown,
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
I like
and the right
no masks and you
oh
don't have to self-isolate if you have a positive
gee.
test. Excuse me.
Exactly. Look at France, Germany, their figures are 100,000.
Yeah,
The US is still in a bad way.
yeah,
India is in a bad way. Just
yeah,
because China is completely isolating itself and is trying to have zero COVID, but
yeah.
that's last night they said on the news that said no country can sustain that
Mm,
because they still have to eventually imp, import, export. The factories have to work.
yeah,
The cleaners, everything, the electricians, whatever.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's crazy that we
I
don't have
do
to
too.
self-isolate and don't wear masks. I think it's yeah, I don't understand the rationale. When I was told, I was like, that makes
Mm,
no sense.
none whatsoever. If we're doing well, nice. Let's keep
Yeah,
it that way.
yeah,
But apparently China is 90% vaccinated.
right.
But their Winter Olympics are starting now, and they showed, this was CNN. They showed huge like villages where the positives were. What did they do? Isolated. They were
Mm,
isolating, and the huge camps of these people,
right,
enormous,
right.
and which we don't see. None of us have that facilities. No, Europe isn't big enough to have those sort of facilities. Well,
Mm.
the money, of course.
Yeah, and I suppose they're also like it's a in many ways it's a dictatorship, isn't it? So
Yeah,
I
well,
suppose they
exactly. Yeah, they take it wherever it's needed. That's right.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They're more in they enforce rules in a different ways with more
Yes.
stricter.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't know. I'm going to wear my mask. That's
Yeah,
for
I'm
certain.
gonna wear my mask
Yeah,
too. I
me
think
too.
it's
I have no problem with that.
no, and that's the thing. Like, I really don't mind if it
I
if it
don't mind either.
yeah, even
Right.
if even like a lot of people says it's not that protective, but it does reduce the load of what you can spread, and that just intuitively makes sense.
Precisely because if you're standing in front of someone, their breath comes out, it shoots out.
Mm,
What I find difficult, if I go to the bank or any place that has it has a plastic thing,
mm,
then say the teller has a mask on, I have a mask on, and then I'm looking, unless you know how much money do you want, that's okay. But
mm.
any conversation, I have a really hard time following it.
Yeah, yeah,
It's,
that's true.
huh? Or boots or anything like that. There's double plastic things.
Yeah, no, that is very true. It is sometimes hard to hear the muffled sounds through the
Yes.
masks. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that is very true. Yeah, no, I find it astonishing that
Mm.
we don't have to. I think that even the worst bit is we don't have to self-isolate if you have a positive test.
Yeah, why?
It's like, just what?
That's right. Why even if we're not, why bother with a test?
Yeah, why bother?
Yeah, exactly. Why bother? What difference does it make if we don't self-isolate or do anything?
Mm. Yeah, it's a weird
Mm.
time. It's an interesting time to be alive, I think.
Yes, yes, it is.
It's
I
not
don't know if this is what they did in 1917 with the Spanish flu, because I know a lot of people, scientists were looking at that period of time and how eventually it petered out, because I believe we didn't have vaccines at that time. I don't know. I know they had something, but I don't know what it was. If it's just washing hands, hygiene, but it just left. It just went
well, I think it just killed. I think it just
itself.
ended the amounts of hosts ended eventually. I think so it killed millions, right? I think it killed many more than it's been killed now, hasn't it?
Yes, yes.
I think so. I think it just the worst. There just wasn't anyone else to
Mind
transmit
you,
to.
with killing, I'm not saying that everybody has a warm house.
Yeah.
However, most people did not actually have a warm house at all. Even if you were well enough to have a fireplace, that was one room.
Yeah.
And what if you stood in front of the room, and then, especially in England, everything is damp in the winter. So
Mm.
maybe you died of pneumonia and Spanish flu.
Mm.
I'm only guessing.
Yeah.
Nutrition wasn't up to scratch either. If you were poor, you were poor,
Yeah. Yeah. It was a very that
really
again. That
poor.
was a very different time to be alive, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
Clothing, all this heavy wool, if it got soaking, you smelled like a sheep. But it was also, it didn't dry. You had no place to dry it. Working conditions were also hideous. Detrimental to health is what I'm saying.
Mm.
So maybe all of those contributed to, even more
The
people
amounts of
dying.
deaths. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm very glad I'm alive and conscious now. I suppose maybe we were alive and conscious around that time too, but
That's right. Yes, I was waiting for you to finish your sentence.
we've actually maybe we've actually experienced a pandemic twice, Ines.
Well, yes, but just imagine the plague.
Yeah.
I mean, at least what I've read about it.
Yeah, it sounds awful.
I don't know if I went through it, but since this is spiritual link,
Mm.
so we'll have to consider other lifetimes too.
We do have to consider other lifetimes.
Yes.
It could be that we did experience the plague again. I don't know. I haven't looked into that.
Again,
Because
it's rats.
yeah.
And then for what I read, like everything else, there's some who live, say, in a family of 5. 4 died, and 1 person didn't get it.
Yeah.
Sharing the same premises, everything else. So they're always survivors.
Yeah. Well, there must have been something with their immune system, though, right?
That's right.
Yeah, which managed to fight it off.
But that's why in the animal kingdom, if there's a fault with a newborn, they kill it because it cannot survive. Either run fast enough or whatever the functions are of that. I know that in fish, with a fish, I've seen it happen. Not my fish, I wouldn't do that to them. But if the tank is not big enough and there's a birth, they eat them up because there's no space.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Hamsters as well. I've seen this through friends of mine, and they had a couple. I suppose it's hard to tell if it's a boy and a girl. They all look alike, so plump and fluffy. And when they had offsprings, they killed them because the cage was too small.
That's such an animalistic instinct, isn't it?
Well, it's survival.
Yeah.
If it's too crowded, guess what? Nobody's going to live.
Yeah. But they just do it by instinct. They don't even question it. They just go, this has to be done.
Yeah, they don't know, confer. They don't go into the corner of the cage and say,
just
listen, Mom, this is really a hard choice. Don't.
Yeah. They just go, yeah. So what are we talking about this week, Ines?
Happy news. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Again, I mean, spiritual link, whatever anybody, however you can conceive or think spiritual link is, anybody's spiritual link across the planet. It is what has meditation to offer. And I use the word meditation because it is a known word, and that can be, whatever you want, relaxation, whatever one wants to. But what does it have to offer? By closing our eyes for meditation, we're actually isolating the mind for a short time. We're isolating our mind and stepping back from the aggravations and the difficulties that might surround us, because The mind needs it. The power and the strength of our thinking needs it in order to think straight and not to jump off into the deep end. In other words, by closing our eyes and stepping back from the aggravations and the difficulties, the mind is able to replenish itself and to think straight. That is the whole purpose of meditation. And if you want to add a God to that, if you want to add an angel to it, that is your smoothie. How many berries do you put into it? But that is the purpose of meditation, because that is what sees us through life. And in the end, we are here to fulfill a pattern of learning for the physical, and the physical needs that. It needs aggravations, but it also needs a way out. And I said last time, I think we said it, Thor, it's a tool. It's a tool, and we can hone that tool. Now, with meditation, we also include, of course, the chakrams. And if you have and use crystals, they can and are an extension of one's own power, as the crystal, is capable of drawing the energy from ourselves, enhancing that energy of ourselves, and bringing it up and through the hands and down through the crystal. If we are using this on ourselves or someone else, it's healing. It doesn't matter what you term, let's just call it healing. We understand the word healing includes everything that we can do, everything at all in our life that we can do, as it brings help and succor to the mind and the body. There are many ways to stimulate the healing energy. There's massage, which we love, need, maybe. There is talk, as we're talking, maybe we can help you. That's healing. There's color, healing. Music, healing. Laying on of hands, healing. Everything comes back to the power of healing, how we are interacting with the world and the people around us. That is still healing. One little word can completely demoralize another person. And that word, if that is demoralizing, hangs in the atmosphere, hangs around that person. If we are using a crystal in this instance, we hold the male crystal in the center of the palm of our hand, center of the palm. This is the center, sorry, center of the palm of the hand. Center of the palm of the hand. Okay. Then either from the front of the body or up the spine, and then just feel. Close your eyes and feel. Just feel and allow the healing energies. Is a warmth, tingling sensation, feel good sensation, penetrating up the spine as you slowly move from the base up to the violet of the crown chakra, up and up and up and up and up. Stimulating the healing energies may not always be for an illness, or perhaps what attitude of mind or difficulty needs extra energy. We're always dealing with the mind, the body, and the spiritual self to resuscitate and strengthen the needed energy to move forward in our physical life. Now, what, of course, this also penetrates, which we're not going to go into. We can do this for hours on end. Of course, it's other colors. We're stimulating the colors. We mentioned healing colors and so on and so forth. Violet, of course, is the crown, as you know. Now, let's look at meditation again. Meditation as a whole. So instead of using, let's say instead of using meditation, we use the word chimney for meditation. A chimney is usually used to send smoke up from a fire. So smoke is the waste element of a fire, which is energy, is it not? And within ourselves, that fire is symbolic of the Kundalini, or the base chakra, which is red. This brings warmth, power. It is also our immune system, and strength to the body through its electrical force. But it is still a fire nevertheless. There's a mechanism within in the body and the soul. The soul now is etheric, so we're going to talk about both of them. There's a mechanism within the body and the soul, which is the soul is etheric, to release the situations of waste that are not wanted. Our body, which is physical, releases much of the ordinary waste matters of the body very efficiently. And when we come to the inner power, inner strength, inner spirit, there still has to be a release of the waste products that are created by the wonderful, literally wonderful fire of the Kundalini. Now, through visualization, through the visual meditations that we do, others do as well, by releasing all of the tensions of the body, you're told to relax, opening the chakrams, of course, which we just mentioned, and releasing all of the tensions of the inner spirit as well, we have a chimney. It's a chimney. Or the word meditation, do we not? It's one and the same. And what we're doing, we're talking about the efforts that are required of the self, of ourselves, to relax the body, to want. That's always a word that we've used. You have to want to do something. Relaxation of self and the physical concentration of opening the chakrams. So if we talk about atomic power, of course, which is an enormous power, which is under control, but still there is a lot of waste which needs to be lifted from that area. So if we imagine our inner fire to that of an atomic power, everything needs to release that waste which is not needed. And that can be achieved through visualization, which of course is etheric. Visualization, not something physical. We're not picking something up. It can also be achieved by having the right attitude in your mind, opening and clearing what worries you, honesty to yourself and others. All these things are obviously do not come into the physical sense. The chimney is symbolic, of course. It is a clearing process. And the body and spirit, we're together, need to be cleared, and providing there is no buildup of this waste product, then the mind and the body can link with the spiritual self because it is clear. So the physical body releases waste. We have tear ducts, comes out of our nose, comes out of, trust me, you have a lot of pores when you're sweating. That's another release. But the spiritual, the etheric, also needs it. And that also requires an etheric way of clearing it. Visualization, clearing your worries. It's in your brain. We are all trying, our spiritual link, whatever you listen to, whatever you try to do, we're always trying to bring forward the cream within ourselves, aren't we? Which is not necessarily a monetary situation, but to understand what life is really all about, what our life, your life is all about. How do we fit into the scheme of things individually? It doesn't matter where we come from, who our parents are, where we live, how we look, what we do, as there's the only purpose ever is for the fulfillment of our spiritual progress of this particular life. That understanding from within, which gives the quality and the fullness of all that we are, all that we hope to be. And this is not easy, nor is it a quick fix to come by. And that it is, in a nutshell, it is easy because we can do it. It does not require anything but a wanting and the time on your part. We can clear that. Find where it takes you. That light bulb moment may come on. Why not? Amen. That's a soapbox gone.
Yeah, why not? You know, I think that is the Can you, we were before, I think we didn't talk about it at the beginning of we talked about it before we jumped on, but I suppose it's the current human conditioning, which is like quick fixes and fast solutions, whilst actually spiritual progression and so on and so forth takes a lot of time and effort, and it's a thing you have to do every day, but it's probably also the most rewarding thing that you can do for yourself.
It could take 5 minutes, because the pressure is on producing. If we're looking at the physical, if either you're working from home, you're working in office, whatever it is, it's always time. What can you do? And if you do it well, I think Amazon, somebody mentioned it, that they have a certain list of deliveries. And if you're good, you get more. So it's a never ending cycle of,
it's a never ending cycle.
You always expect the physical to do more. But I think with the spiritual, everything, as I understand it, is noted in a person's life. The limitations, let us say the difficulties, everything is known. And if you are able to get 5 minutes and just relax yourself, you will automatically be given that help, that assistance to propel you forward to change things. So it is known. We're not alone.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah, we're not alone, because simply we're meant to progress. So it's everybody's benefit that we are able to, everybody, I'm talking about that total force. Otherwise, why should we have the difficulties, the sorrows, the pain, the heartache? There's a reason for it. And what we can do is, through meditation, we get that extra oomph. We get a way out. And that can be, you can be in a war zone, as many people are in the world. You can be wonderful, having a lovely holiday, if that's on the cards. Yes. And you can just do it anywhere, in a sleeping sack, in the rough. Once, when Owen, partner of mine, deceased, we were working in Rome, and we had a day off, and we were working along, and this it looked like just a down and out. And he picked up, we were walking behind him, and he picked up a stale piece of bread off the pavement. And I felt so bad that I didn't stop and offer him money. And anyway, that evening we sat with the guides, and I said exactly the same. I felt so bad that I didn't offer him money. And what I was told, it was his karma at that time to be exactly where he is. And he said, let us say you had given him, this is of course in Italian money, say 50 pounds. He said he would have lost it. It would have been gone, because he was not meant to have more than he had at that time. So there is a reason. It's not as a punishment. It is what we each need to learn at any given time. So, and that's why nobody's better off. I think it's awesome when somebody becomes the richest person in the world. What are you going to do with it? Buy the world? What are you going to do with it? Pass it on to your family?
Yeah.
Come on, you can have all the wars. Don't worry. Yeah, there's a bit of famine in that corner.
Exactly. Well, thank you for another week, Ines. Thank you for another, what do we call it? Do we call it a sermon? Or I've sort of, the word sermon is a bit icky, isn't it? A bit icky. What else could we talk about?
Well, it's a spiritual link. People are, I think anybody who is, that's what spiritual link is all about. Yeah, we've got, have whatever you want sitting on your shoulder, if it makes you happy.
Yeah.
Okay, my hair is going to get even worse every second.
Well, thank you for another week, Ines. And as always, if anyone has any questions, comments, just let us know.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.